boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our MLB On Deck segment for Tuesday, April 30th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure to click the subscribe button below. This way you can watch all of our MLB, NBA, and NFL videos. And if you haven't came and checked out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com, hey, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily FanDuel, and DraftKings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. And make sure to check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So, hey, what up, Jeremy? How you doing, bro?
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, another day grinding. I had a pretty good day yesterday in MLB. I got bats right. Pitchers, I had a couple pitchers right. A couple pitchers got blown up. It was just that kind of night, in baseball. But hey, man, I'm ready to jump back into it and get it in.
Yeah, for sure.
So real quick, a couple quick things. First thing first, if you guys, on this video, we kind of just do a brief overview of some teams we're going to be targeting, some pitchers we're going to be targeting. If you want a more in-depth analysis on today's MLB slate, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. We got about 4 or 5 other articles up. Breaking down today's slate. We have a deep dive, a value article, core plays for your cash game. We have a crush spot. 5 guys that are going to absolutely kill today, regardless of price. Bunch of different stuff. So check it out, dfscheatsheet.com. Yeah, man, I'm ready to jump in the slate and talk some baseball.
Let's get it.
Cool. So, man, I'm going to start, as always, with some bats we're going to be targeting, and then we could kind of jump into some pitchers real quick and get out of here. First team, I'm just going to combine it because I like both sides of this game, so I'm going to kind of combine this game together. It's Pittsburgh and Texas going at each other in Texas. We talked about it since the beginning of the year. Texas actually gave up the most runs of any stadium last year. Yes, even more than Coors Field. It's just a really, really good hitters environment. It's starting to get hot now. You got to like both sides. I'm going to start with Texas. I think they're the side that you definitely want to target first. They have the highest implied total on the slate, a 5.6 projected runs going against Jordan Lyles today for Pittsburgh. Me and you were talking about it right before we got on this show. Texas has so many guys that are just absolutely hitting the ball hard against right-handers. To be exact, they have 7 guys with at least 25 batted ball exit velocity events, averaging over 90 miles per hour. So, I mean, when they're against right-handers, they're absolutely crushing the ball, hitting it hard. Not necessarily every single time they hit the ball, it's going out of the yard, but the ball's just absolutely jumping off their bats right now. Some guys that I'm really, really targeting are Gallo, Andrus, Pence, Mazzara, Odor. They have a team WOBA of 359 and a team ISO of 218. So very impressive numbers against right-handers. So I think Texas is the premier team that you really, really want to get some exposure to on this slate. Looking on the other side of things, on Pittsburgh, they have a couple guys as well that have a really, really good batted ball experience. Really quick before we get into that, that's something I'm kind of new to. Do you want to kind of explain a little bit of what we're looking at when we talk about that?
So this is one of the research things that I use daily and compile a deep dive with, and I take a look at exit velocities. We talked about StatCast data yesterday, and you can go through on a bunch of sites and you could find out WOBA and slugging percentage and all that stuff. But that's what they've done to that date. Like that's what they've done to that date, right? So we're talking about playing a game here in daily fantasy that you're trying to predict what's going to happen. And I've said it 3 or 4 times on this On Deck video that the best predictor of what's going to happen in the future is StatCast data. Finding out how many batted ball events guys have that result in either ground balls, fly balls, line drives. And on those events, what is their average exit velocity against a pitcher's handedness? And is try to find, is there something does this guy see righties really well? You're trying to predict the future based off what guys are doing, what their launch angles are, exit velocities, expected slugging percentages off those events. So we need home runs. We need extra base hits to have really large fantasy scores. And the best predictor of that is how many batted ball events does a guy have that result in line drives and fly balls that are exit velocities of 95 miles per hour or higher. That's like the key there. You want 95 miles per hour. And then when you watch a game and you see a home run, they'll come back and show you the StatCast data on that. They'll say, oh, this ball left the bat at 104 miles per hour. The launch angle was 36 degrees and it traveled 463 feet. Okay, so from that data right there, StatCast will tell you, and some announcers will even say, his expected batting average for those numbers is 963. Nobody's going to hit 963, but if you can see and kind of start to pair up the frequency in which a guy has an exit velocity that resulting in a fly ball or line drive event, and the exit velocity is above 95 miles per hour, there's a guy that if he's doing it frequently is in a groove, he's barreling the ball up, and that's the guys you want to target because they have the best opportunity to yield you home runs and extra base hits. We talk about it all the time. We don't need singles. We don't.
Right.
We need big, we need correlation. We need home runs, 3-run bombs, 2-run bombs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the data that we're talking about.
Yep. The only singles we want are with bases loaded, right?
I don't even want it then. Like, put the ball in the freaking gap, man. Give me
I get you. But hey, you would take it though. Quick little, get 2 RBI.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're talking about right, but there's so much that goes into this, and this is the stuff we talk about on the website every single day. So,
right.
It has to come down with value also. Like, if you're going to spend $4,000 for a guy and he goes 3 for 3 that day with 3 singles, no RBIs, no stolen bases, and get you 9 points, that's not a productive day. Like, yeah, he didn't give you a 0, but you're not taking anything down with 9 points out of a guy who's $4,000.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree completely. That's why I said, I mean, if it's for a cheap guy, you could kind of get away with it, but for the expensive guys, I agree with you for sure. Outside of Texas, we talked about it, probably our favorite team on today's slate. We're going to go on the other side of things, talk about Pittsburgh real quick. Pittsburgh has the second highest implied total on the slate of 5.4. They get a matchup today. With Adrian Sampson. I couldn't really find too much on this pitcher. One thing I did find is the guy does give a 418 WOBA to right-handers, 329 WOBA to left-handers, so he's a little bit more of a reverse splits kind of guy. But either way, he's getting hit pretty hard. And then we talked about Texas being a really good hitter's park. The guys that are really standing out for me for Pittsburgh, I'm looking at guys like Melky Cabrera, Kang. We're looking at Josh Bell. And then we are also looking at, it was Tucker, correct? He was the other one that had a really, really good
Cole Tucker, yeah.
Yeah, Cole Tucker. Yeah, so those are the main 4 guys that we're looking at on targets on Pittsburgh that we're targeting to kind of get us some quality production like we talked about. Moving on, next team we're going to talk about is going to be Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a team right now. They're actually a little bit underachieving with the lineup that they have. They have an absolutely stacked lineup. I mean, it is what it is. There's no other way around it. They have the 3rd highest implied total on the slate of 5.3. They're at Philadelphia, which is a pretty good hitter's park as well. There's some guys that are definitely standing out going against Spencer Turnbull. He gives up a 370 WOBA to left-handers, 259 WOBA to right-handers. Generally, we probably want to target him a little bit more with lefties, but I think that there's a bunch of guys that are in play. There's some guys that have been really, really hitting the ball very hard. We got to start with Harper, best player on the team. Right after Harper, some guys that are really standing out that I'm going to be looking to target on Philadelphia. You can look at Kingerly. I think Kingerly's a really, really good play. Hoskins, he's always in play. The guy he has double dong upside any single night. Maikel Franco and Real Mucho. Those are guys that I'm targeting on Philadelphia that are really standing out to me right now. Moving on, next team we're going to go with is going to be the Boston Red Sox. They have a 5.2 implied total going against Aaron Brooks at home. Aaron Brooks gives up a 327 WOBA to left-handers, 333 WOBA to right-handers. One guy, or actually there was 2 guys that really jumped out on the page for us on Boston. First guy is going to be their young guy, the guy Chavis. This guy, I mean, he just came up. It's a small sample size. He's only had 5 really, really good batted ball experiences. But out of those, he's averaging an excellent velocity off his bat of 99 miles per hour, and he has 3 home runs. So in 5 and 5, really, really good batted ball experience. He has 3 home runs. So when he barrels the bat up, the ball's going a long way. Is that what that basically is telling me? The same thing with Mookie Betts. In 16 batted ball experiences, he has 6 home runs. So when he barrels the ball up against right-handers, he's hitting the ball hard. So those 2 guys are really standing out. And then you always got to look at JD Martinez, top 5 hitter in the league. And Benintendi, he's a really, really good hitter as well. Stolen base upside, a little bit of power upside. So I like those guys. You can also throw in Bogarts as well. Bogarts is swinging a pretty good bat. Mitch Moreland, he was a guy that you're telling me you're not so much on at Boston. Is that what you're saying, Craig?
Well, the thing with Moreland is, right, so you got Benintendi. So let's talk about FanDuel specifically because it's a 4-man stack, right? So you've got Benintendi, you've got Betts, you've got Chavis, and then you've got somebody else in a right-handed bat you could kind of pick up on, right? So I understand that Benintendi is a left-handed bat, but we know we're giving Benintendi. Benintendi has the ability to hit the ball hard the other way, and he can hit the ball up the middle hard. And we've seen plenty of home runs from Benintendi while he's there. He's also a gap-to-gap guy, where Moreland's more of a pull hitter, right? And a pull hitter in that stadium is very difficult to get home runs out of. If you look, he's really a doubles hitter at home. So I don't have a problem with him. He's just not as high on my list as a guy that I want to roster up. Also, you look at his average exit velocity against right-handed pitching, and he's not one of the top 3 guys in that spot. So there's a time and place for everybody. Bogarts is a guy that I like as a part of that stack, and you could also consider mini stacking them with a 3-man stack with Chavis and JD Martinez and Mookie Betts. One thing I want to just quickly add, these batted ball events you're talking about, just to give some more clarity to what we're talking about. When a popular stat for pitchers is to look at their SIERA versus their ERA. The sabermetrics is the SIERA is a much more clear indicator of if a guy's been unlucky or if he's been really lucky, and it's a way to kind of look for regression or for a guy to turn things around, right? So when you're talking about these batted ball experiences, when we're limiting them to line drives and fly balls, because we don't really care about ground balls, they result in singles. We're talking about fly balls and line drives, right? And if you see and you start looking at these, and this guy against right-handed pitching has an average exit velocity of 102 miles an hour, but he doesn't have any home runs, but he has like 15 or 16 of these events already this season, that's a guy who you can look at and say he's had really bad luck. Case in point, last night, Giants game, last game on the slate, Kiki Hernandez is up with runners at second and third, and he absolutely smashes a ball at about 106 miles per hour right at Brandon Crawford, resulting in a double play. That's bad luck. But that's a guy who had a barrel experience, who hit the shit out of a baseball and resulted in nothing. So when you start adding these things up, like a Mookie Betts, who has a bunch of these batted ball events of resulting in fly balls and line drives at exit velocities over 100 miles per hour, there's home runs coming for Mookie Betts.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah. So I mean, the final team I'm gonna quickly just move on from, move to is I'm gonna go right back to the well. We've been picking on Andrew Kashner all year long, and it's crazy because Andrew Kashner, I don't know what this guy. He has really, really good luck. I don't know what, but he gets in jams over and over. He constantly gets in jams, and he finds ways to get out of it. I mean, over and over and over again. It happened against the White Sox this year. Andrew Kashner, he isn't a very good pitcher at all. He gives up a 354 WOBA with the left-handers, 372 WOBA with the right-handers. I expect the White Sox to put up some runs. Once again, I'm going to go right back to the well. I like him in this spot, man. I'm going to target their main guys. You got to look at Abreu, Moncada, Tim Anderson, and if Wellington Castillo is in the lineup, he hits the ball hard against Andrew Kashner. He has some pretty good numbers as well. And I think you can even throw in like a Yondir Alonso. He did go yard yesterday, so I'm not necessarily expecting him to go yard again. But the guy does have some upside, batting in the cleanup spot in a lineup that we're going to be targeting. So that's really where I'm at for bats. I mean, just to quickly recap it, my top 2 teams I'm going to target is going to be Texas, Pittsburgh, because you got to love them in Texas. And then I like Philadelphia, Boston, and the White Sox as well. Where you at pitching-wise?
Man, there's some gas cans on this slate, bro. There's some gas cans on this slate. This is a day that man, you've really got to make sure you've got some exposures based on some really good information. But just start right here with Jason Vargas. I understand he's pitched a little bit better recently, but this guy's a gas can, and he goes against Cincinnati Reds. Jules Chassin has not pitched well as of late. Going against Colorado, this team has been on fire coming out of Atlanta. Annabelle Sanchez against the Cardinals. The Cardinals have been on absolute fire. We had them stacked up yesterday. Clay Buchholz, not a very good pitcher. Andrew Kashner, you mentioned. And then, look, you've got Trevor Bauer on the slate. You've got Blake Snell on the slate. There's Garrett Cole's on this slate. There's some spots you can look. Cole Hamels pitching in Seattle. He's been really good so far this year. And then the guy I probably like the most with the most upside tonight, when you start taking a look at a guy who's had a ton of whiffs on his four-seam fastball this year at a high percentage, resulting in either foul balls, whiffs, or ground balls, that's Walker Buehler. This guy has pitched really well recently. He's not gotten the strikeouts yet that we'd like to see, but we saw Maeda last night and Jeff Samardzija both throw 5 scoreless innings, and that game was really a scoreless inning until the Giants bullpen gave up 2 runs. But that game ended in a 3-2 game, and both starting pitchers pitched well in that ballpark. Rick Porcello, another guy that's very interesting today, going against the A's. I happen to like the A's again today, especially with Porcello on the mound, a guy that hasn't pitched well since he won his Cy Young. So that's kind of where I'm at with pitching. There's some gas cans on this slate. There's definitely some premier targets to look at, and we'll break it all down in the deep dive.
Yeah, for sure. Simple, man. So, hey, we talked about it at the very beginning. If you want a more in-depth analysis on today's MLB slate, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Hey, remember, I told you guys yesterday, we got a 14-day free trial up for you guys, man. Hey, we don't need you guys to go try it out for a day or two and take your money. That's not what we want. We want you to mess with it, get used to it, have fun with the tool, understand the value that we're trying to give you guys, and then you can sign up. You got 2 weeks to make your decision. I mean, you can't lose. Who else is giving you a 2-week free trial? Hey, we want this to help you guys win money night in, night out. Make sure to check it out, dfscheatsheet.com. And hey, good luck on your guys' contest tonight, all right? Peace out.